melt this when I'm ocean waves.
Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have Matthew Lenert, Marshall winger in basketball and in soccer, among other things, plays for Union, recently signed with College of Charleston. Matthew, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, you just got finished with a really awesome basketball campaign. Tough ending, but it's always tough for everyone except for state champions. Is it hard to retool yourself for another sport? Like you've been playing basketball for the last 4 months, and all of a sudden you got to get yourself up to play soccer, not just for your high school, but for your club and also with your college team in mind as well.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, usually like a couple of days after the tough loss, it like starts getting easier. I mean, like going to the locker room after the loss was really tough. All emotions were just pouring out of all of us. But then like a couple of days after, I mean, started to really settle in back to soccer pretty smoothly. So it's somewhat difficult, but I got used to it last year. I can do it again this year. So
Yeah. Well, you're a very high level player. You signed with College of Charleston Division One. You played on a top club team, Union. I think you played for McLean as well. Obviously, Marshall was the regional finalist. Regional semifinalist 2 years in a row. But your game is very technical. It's not like I was talking to Elijah. The way he plays sports is not quite as technical as the way you play them. Is it hard to get that rust off and to get kicking the soccer ball and have the same level of technical that you need?
Yeah, for the first like week joining back to soccer, I was definitely a bit rusty. But after like a week, I just get back in the hang of things, and like usually it just takes me like one goal to really get back into my groove and stuff. So it's a little rusty for a week, but after that it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, what do you say to the one sport athletes, folks that focus on one sport that could play other sports? I mean, I know you come across a lot of your teammates, especially in club, but probably basketball as well, that could play other sports, but they choose to focus. You guys ever talk about that and why you decide to focus, or people just kind of accept that you're one of the few that actually still do that?
I guess some of my friends talk about how like cool it is that I play two sports, I guess. To those one sport athletes, like if that's like your dream to play that sport, like by all means like do that. I'm definitely encouraging people to play more sports. It can only benefit you for like if I play soccer and I play basketball, like I use different skills for both sports and they all come into play at some time. So I mean, I guess it can like only help you. So if you're able to do it, I would encourage it.
Yeah. Do you, so I would think the competitiveness that you gain by competing in different sports helps you. Are there disadvantages? Like, for example, in basketball, you couldn't probably play a lot of AAU in your career because you had to focus on your club team or your high school soccer team. And do you ever wonder what kind of basketball player you would have been if you focused, or what kind of soccer player if you didn't have basketball?
My freshman year, actually, I chose to play AAU basketball instead of high school soccer. I chose that. But then the next year I decided to stop playing AAU and play high school soccer. I mean, I guess you definitely are missing out on like opportunities like for basketball during basketball season. I missed out on some showcases for soccer, but I mean, in the end, like it was all worth it for me. I loved being fully committed to this Marshall basketball team. There's risks and rewards for being a multi-sport athlete, but in the end, I think it all works out. And I mean, yeah, like in the end, it all works out for me. So
Yeah. Well, do you ever wish that you didn't have club during high school? Like in Maryland, for example, they play high school soccer in the fall, and most of the club teams in the older age groups kind of wind down a little bit and they ramp back up in the spring. Do you ever wish that you could just play high school soccer in the spring, or maybe the high school was in was in the fall, so you didn't have to play on two teams at once playing soccer.
Um, kind of. I guess I kind of like playing high school soccer in the spring and club in the spring because I'm doing two like I'm playing club in high school, but it's for one sport.
Uh-huh.
Whereas like if high school soccer was in the fall, then I guess high school basketball would have to be in the spring. And I
Yeah.
just I just like in the fall I focus on basketball. That's my that's what I did last year and this year. And in the spring I just solely focus on soccer. So I guess I kind of like the scheduling right now.
Yeah. Well, what do you say to your teammates that don't play high school soccer? So, as you know, my son Chandler, we were told growing up that high school soccer wasn't worth it and blah, blah, blah. And we couldn't believe how much fun he had playing high school soccer. I mean, it's a little easier for him because, as you know, Yorktown's a top team. Marshall, but sometimes the higher level players, wouldn't necessarily play because they wouldn't think, for example, their team was on all on their level. So what do you say to people who don't play on the high school team because they don't think the high school team is quite as good as their club team?
Yeah, usually high school isn't as good as their club team, so that's a fair point. But I just like the experience of playing with your friends. Like these are your guys for 4 years, and like building those like relationships on and off the field. Playing high school soccer definitely helps my relationships with my friends or on and off the field. Uh, and like just high school soccer is like mainly about having fun. I mean, obviously, like if you're like a top player playing for a high school that like maybe doesn't generate as much talent as like your club team would, it could get frustrating. But then again, it also helps build your character and like makes you a better teammate for high school and just for your future as well. So
Do you find that high school soccer helps your game? I mean, do you do things playing high school that you may not do in your club because maybe you have more of a defined role in club, where in high school you're taking direct kicks, you're doing penalties, you're sometimes you're dropping back into the midfield. Do you find yourself doing much more in high school than you would in club? So therefore, maybe it benefits you.
um yeah, I mean having a more of a I guess captaincy role in high school helps, and like just like the more games you play, like playing most of the games, playing most of the minutes in the games helps me build that fitness for higher competition in club, let's say.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean like taking like all the penalties, taking free kicks, like it's like nice and all. It helps build confidence and stuff for high school. Um, so yeah, I guess like high school really helps build my confidence for a club. So yeah.
How about playing with your little brother Derek? Is it fun playing on the same team? Because when you play club, it's age group, and Derek's, I think he's 2 years younger than you, or is he 1 year?
He's
One
in
year.
06.
Oh, he's
2 years.
06. Yeah. So do you enjoy getting a chance to play with your brother?
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. My parents love it. Like it's easy for them transportation wise, and also just seeing their two kids playing the same team. It's like a dream for them, and it's also a dream for me. Um, having like, I mean, I see this guy like wake up every morning, every day, and then I also get to play with him on a soccer field, like doing something we both love. It's just like really cool, and not that many brothers have that opportunity. So, to be able to play and compete and have fun with my brothers is really awesome. So I really enjoy it.
Right. So how meaningful would it be for you to lead your high school team to like a district championship or something like that? Obviously, you guys would be a little bit of an underdog because there's some very, very strong teams in your district, but you guys have some good players as well. And then you played Yorktown really tough last year in districts. How meaningful would it be? Would it be something that you remember for a long time if you can lead Marshall to a soccer district championship?
Yeah, no, I'd remember that for the rest of my life probably. Like having an underdog title last year, we didn't have the best season. Having the underdog title this year, I mean, anything's possible. And if we could get that opportunity, and we won like a district for example, like I would definitely remember that for the rest of my life. That would be something special to not only me but to my other teammates, to the school, be like a wake up call. Like Marshall soccer is like wow, like they could do that. So just mean a lot.
Yeah, also your parents too. So, yeah. Well, speaking of your parents, your mother, I believe, is a Hoosier. She's from Indiana, right? So, or
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, but I know she loves basketball. Your
Mhm.
father is Keith Lenert, a good friend of mine. He was a great basketball player and soccer player at Annandale. Played goalie for UVA. played for the Diplomats, and coached at a very high level. His brother Jeff was a very good player as well at Annandale. I think older, probably class of 77, 78. And I think he had other siblings that played too. I need to get, I forgot their names. But anyway, you come from a sports family. Did you have balls in your hand at a very young age?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, there was one time I was like maybe like 4 years old or something, just in my backyard, and I was like tossing up a wiffle ball with a wiffle ball bat, and I hit it like all the way over my house, and like my neighbors were like in shock, and like I just always like there would always be balls in the family room, and we'd always be kicking against the stairs. Like me and my brother actually played hockey like periodically in our family room, which parents weren't excited about because we probably break a few things there, but there's always something like moving around in our house. So yeah, I come from a very big sports family. So
Yeah. So when did you start getting serious about sports? Now, obviously, travel soccer was a big thing around U9, but when did you first start getting into sports, and when did you first start getting serious?
I guess I've been playing sports my whole life, but when I seriously thought I wanted to play like next level, like for college, for instance, probably around my sophomore year. Yeah, my sophomore year was really when I thought I could do something with this, and like I kept enjoying it. Like if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't want to play in the next level. So
Mm.
I was enjoying it. Um I was developing definitely in my freshman and sophomore year, and then my junior year is when I started seeing results for like goals for my club team, assists, and like my club team was very very well, or very good last year. Made it to the ECNL national playoffs, lost in the final. But after that, that's when I was like, okay, I could really take this seriously and go to the next step.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to some of those achievements, but when you have athletic parents, did you find was that pressure that for example, your father played Major League Soccer? Are there downsides to having such successful athletes as parents?
Um, I not in my family. My parents were always supportive of me. Um, if I didn't want to play sports at a high level, they would be 100% acceptable of that. They would always encourage me no matter what I do. So I guess I got really lucky with having such caring parents, and like there was no pressure whatsoever from them. They just wanted the best what I wanted. So yeah.
Well, after you play it, and I've sat next to your parents when watching you play. Uh, what's a typical conversation?
That's funny.
It doesn't happen very often, but
Yeah.
we all have an off night sometimes.
Yeah. Especially on poor efforts or off nights, like you said, uh, my parents could talk a lot, not like in a like mean or bad tone. It's just like I could tell that they're very annoyed, and obviously I'm very annoyed. So usually lasts about like 10 minutes, but like after that, we just go back to normal, like forget about it, improve the next day. So maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of little annoyingness conversations, you'd say, but after that, it's fine.
Do you ever critique your brother after he plays?
Not really. No. We always try to be positive. You know, I guess since we're brothers, like if we were to critique each other, it'd be much more personal, which is obviously not a good thing. So we tend to be more positive to each other. So
Yeah. Now, your brother, real quickly, is a football player for Marshall. Did you ever think about playing football?
um last summer, I was in Turks and Caicos with my friends, and one of my friends played football for Marshall, and I guess just like the thought of me going to practice like 4 hours a day and like 5 days a week over the summer, I was like in a very motivational mood. So I mean, for like a week there, I was considering it, but then I thought to myself, I was like, I don't want this. Like, I want to stick to basketball and soccer, which are the two sports I really love. So there was like a week of a time where I thought maybe I could play football, but no.
I, I think you made a very, very good decision. Football is brutal. I played, and
Yeah.
I'm still traumatized by the hits. I took, even though I did enjoy it. Who are your first influential coaches? Let's go for soccer first. What coach did you first have that really taught you a lot and kind of made you get more serious or made you improve?
Yeah. Brent Hupel. He was my U9 coach. He was my coach for like couple years. He was a great guy. He also helped me get into my advanced academic program in my elementary school, which my mom and I have never forgotten that, and we're very thankful for him. He's just a very encouraging guy. Um, he would always make myself and my other teammates work on our technical ability, whereas we would always want to like scrimmage and play games and practices. So like we'd be juggling for like 10 minutes before practice starts, and at a young age we weren't the best at juggling, so we'd get frustrated. But in the end, it really helped us. So Coach Prince helped me a lot through the younger years, and I still see him today. And like going to my club practices, he's always coaching a younger team, and so we always get to catch up and chat. And he's just a great guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I was really impressed by the club coach you had last year. I went to watch you guys play Arlington that hot day in May, I believe. But you guys really played some nice soccer. Who was that coach? And do you still have him today?
yeah, he's not my coach currently, but he was for the past 4 years. His name's Jamil Walker.
Okay.
Very, very smart guy. Uh, Good guy too. He actually played in MLS, so that was pretty cool. And he was a forward, so he would always work with me, um, giving me tips, pointers about like my finishing or like where to get in the correct spots. He's probably like one of the smartest coaches I've ever met in the game. So playing under him was definitely beneficial for me for my development. So
Did he ever talk about you playing basketball?
um he would always joke around in practice, being like, "Oh, look who's back! It's a basketball player." But he would always support me doing it. Obviously, like as a soccer coach, you want your players mainly being focused on soccer, but he was very supportive of me playing two sports at sometimes at once. But so yeah, he would just joke about me playing basketball, which is healthy.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's a healthy thing to like joke about the basketball and soccer sports, so I liked it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who's your coach this season?
His name's Alan Portillo.
Oh, yeah, he's a great coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach. Yeah, so this is my first year being a player under him, having him as my head coach. He would always help Jamil out last year during our successful run in playoffs. But this year, like he just given me full support of playing basketball during the soccer season. He's always given me his 100% confidence. He'd always have confidence in me. Um, yeah, so him and Jamil have like similar tactic uh wise playing style or coaching style. So both of them are like really amazing coaches, and I couldn't have asked for better coaches.
One of the things I like best about high school soccer is you get a chance to play against all your club teammates in high school. Like Marshall, you'll see Union teammates in Langley, you'll see them at McLean, you'll see them at Yorktown, you'll see them in Washington. They're all over the place. Do you enjoy playing high school against your club teammates?
I guess when we're losing a bunch, not really, but obviously, yeah, I love playing against my friends. Like last year, we didn't have the best season, but just seeing my guys, my club guys on the pitch, playing against them, competing, just gives you that extra bump to like really try to perform at your best, and like score, especially like scoring against them. It's like an amazing feeling. But yeah, playing against high school teammate or club teammates at the high school level is just it's something I guess I take or not I myself, but like other players who don't play high school sports take for granted.
Yeah.
Seeing these guys in the club and high school level is just something special. So I really like playing against them.
Yeah, there's a real bond when you play against your high school teammates. Chandler last year, he played against Edwin, I believe, in your team from
Edward?
Marshall. Yeah, I played Edward Severin.
Yeah, Edward, yeah.
Edwin, and then there was the guy who played right wing. I think he's a good goal scorer. He started for you guys. I can't think of his name, but they both played for Villarreal. So, but it happens all the time, and it's always good after the game when you get together, and especially when one of the other plays well. It's always nice to see your club teammate play well, as long as they don't beat you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Sorry, I really enjoy that. Well, let's talk a little bit about basketball. Who was your first important coach in basketball?
Honestly, it was Jerry Lynn. My freshman year, I was on the freshman team. It was his first year as a head coach at Marshall, and I would just always be seeing him in the corner of the gym, like scouting us, and it always make me a little nervous because like next year, obviously, my goal is to play varsity, in which I did, and I mean, Jerry Lynn, he just is such a great coach. Playing under him was definitely a hard, difficult task, but one thing I really loved about him, or still love about him, is that he really puts in the effort to make that strong player coach relationship as strong as possible. And he does that with not just like maybe like the top 5 players. He like builds a huge relationship with all 15 guys on the team, which really comes into play as like our team was successful last year and as well as this year. And he's just such a great guy and great coach, and I love playing against him or playing for him, and he'll always be one of my best friends. So he was great.
As you may know, I coached Jerry when I was Marshall Summer League basketball coach. Jerry played for me. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. He was a tortured player. I mean, he was a sixth man, seventh man, tried really hard, but there was a high talent level back then. We had a really good team. So Jerry probably didn't play as much as he wanted to, but he played well, and he was a great guy. Now you mentioned a little bit about how he inspires and how he cares about his players. Technically or tactically, how would you describe Coach Lynn?
He really pushes us to, I guess, well, first first is effort, then it comes tactics. So as long as we have effort, tactics will come. But I guess he really focused on like defending instead of like scoring, I'd say. Like if we get stops, we get rebounds, like buckets will come, like we'll score the ball. Like we just need to really up our tempo on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what he really focused on this year especially.
Yeah. Well, you're hard to describe as a player because I describe you as a wing because you played wing in soccer as well, but you're more than that because you play inside a lot, you rebound, you defend. If someone asks you what position do you play in basketball, how would you answer them?
I'd probably say I like to think myself still as a guard or a wing. Yeah, I do play the 4 sometimes. Like I'm always crushing the boards. But I think one of my stronger abilities is to really like find threatening passes, and that comes from guard skill. So I'd probably say a guard or a wing.
Yeah. I always wondered how you would have done. I'm really glad you went to Marshall. I hope all top players go to Marshall. But I did wonder how you would have played like a WCAC or Flint Hill, who could have used you. When you would have been against great competition like you play against in soccer and like you probably play against in AAU. I wonder how you would have held up. I think you would have done really well. But did you ever think about how you would have played at one of these top high schools?
Um, to be honest, I haven't really thought about that. Always been stuck with Marshall or stuck with Marshall, not stuck with Marshall. I love playing with Marshall. So yeah, I didn't really think about playing for any of the private schools or any of that.
Yeah, I think you probably would have developed more guard skills because you would have probably been playing, the 2 more than at Marshall. You probably play a lot of 3, a lot of 4, maybe as well as 2. But I think at a more prominent school, you probably would have played more in the backcourt. So anyway, your junior year in basketball, you guys had a really good team, and it was obvious that you guys could go far. Your senior year, you lost. What was your post player's name your junior year? I can't think of his name. Audi. Yeah, you had a guard. I think Shinto was a guard.
Yeah.
A couple guards. And then you moved in. Jose replaced, came in a guard. What's the quick guard you guys have in the backcourt? It scores a lot also.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason. So the teams were very different. And I actually thought you guys it might not be easy for you this year, but you guys had a fantastic year. How would you describe the 2 different teams?
Our junior year or my junior year, we had a bunch of seniors who we looked up to, and like Jason was a sophomore that year, so he didn't really get to. I mean, he played like some minutes, but he wasn't like a big like scorer or starter for us last year. But like just playing under those senior guys, they really like brought us up, and they really they would always push us. And like at the end of the district final when we lost to WNL, they were just encouraging us. Like after the game, they were all like sad, like they lost the final in their senior year. Like they were just telling us like get them next year, and like get us like win this for us next year. And they was just so encouraging. And so like this year we had a lot of momentum, and we knew people were gonna doubt us because of losing 4 starters, 7 seniors who were very significant for us last year. So we just used that extra motivation and we got the job done for them.
Yeah, I mean, not only did you win, most of the games you dominated. You must have won most of the games. You won by 20 points or more. Did that surprise you at all that the games? I don't want to say it was easy because you guys played hard, but did it surprise you that some of the big wins that you had in terms of point total? Point total?
I don't really think it surprised me that much because I knew like we practice 6 times a week and or not on game days, but I mean just like our intensity in practice really helped us. Like the games were kind of easier than practices for us. Our coaches would get on us for if we were like taking a minute off of the like dropping intensity for a minute, they would be on us, and then like when game time came, like we just show that intensity for the first 5 minutes, and I guess not it didn't really come surprising for me.
Yeah. So you win the district, again, pretty easily. I think you won by a couple games, and then you get to regionals, and you end up going against Madison, your rival. Not only a rival in basketball, but just rival close by. A lot of the kids know each other from middle school and so forth. That was an incredible game. I mean, the gym was packed, and you started out great. Team started out great, but they went on like a 19-0 run or something crazy.
Yeah.
When you look back on that, what do you think was going on out there? Were they just hot, or that's just the way basketball is? It's a game of runs.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate for us. We hadn't played in a game where we went on like a terrible run like that. Like that was our first like game where we went on a pretty deficit or big run, or the other team. But like they had a guy off the bench score I think like 15. He had like 3 threes, and
That's right.
that just really killed us. And like it's not like we were rushing our shots or anything on the offensive side. We were taking good shots. They just weren't falling. I missed like a couple easy uh close range shots. Jose, one of probably the best shooter in the district, he wasn't hitting. But then like what can you do? Like it's a game of basketball. Like we just had to deal with it, and then we fought back, but wasn't enough at the end. So it was really unfortunate that uh I think it was actually like a 22-0 run had to come in a regional semifinal game. So
Yeah. Well, it went down. You guys got back into the game, and it was a very close game. I think Wyatt Norton made a big play in the end to kind of throw the ball up and kind of waste some time at the very
yeah.
end. And you guys still got a shot off down one. Do you think that's a game you'll think about over the years? I know all basketball players remember the last high school game. I still remember mine vividly. I wasn't that good of a player, but I still remember that game. But do you think that game will stick with you?
Definitely. I still remember the last shot I took, mid range in the corner lower left corner, and luckily I made it. But that was like the last ever high school basketball shot I'd take. So I definitely would remember the game itself, losing to a rival in a regional semifinal game with a chance to win it at the end. So that'll definitely stick with me for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a little bit about your goals for high school soccer, and one of them will be great to win districts. But what about club soccer? Now you're playing for Coach Portillo. Is it a little bit anticlimactic? You've already signed. It's during the high school season. Do you have strong goals for this last club season?
Yeah, I mean, we try to finish at the top of the table. I think we're in the middle of the table right now for ECNL standings. So I guess just um, like trying to win games and stuff. And just because I'm signed for a college doesn't mean I'm gonna like drop intensity or like uh, you know, play it safe, like try not to get hurt. I'm still gonna give my team and my teammates like 100% effort, and being fully committed to soccer now with high school basketball season done, it's a lot easier to be 100% committed. So I guess just try to finish as high as you can, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Is it frustrating at all that they divide top clubs from MLS Next and ECNL? Would it be better in your eyes if there was all one league of all the top players, or you just play and don't worry about things like that?
Yeah, I don't really think about that much. Maybe it'd be cool to play against some MLS Next teams, but really doesn't bother me. I don't really think of it as like much of like a competition, I guess. So it doesn't really bother me.
Right. Well, you decided to go to College of Charleston, which is a great school, had a good basketball season this year. I think, are they in the
Yeah.
NIT or, are they,
No,
okay.
they lost to San Diego State in the first round of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. So they had a wonderful season.
Mhm.
So why did you decide to go to Charleston, and who was your coach?
Head coach there is Coach Keith Wiggins. But the coach who actually reached out to me was Coach Kyle Johnston, and it was I think a week after our trip to San Diego, and I chose Charleston because they all believed in me, and they showed interest right away, and within a week or so of after like communicating with Coach Johnson through email, we would get on calls, and he actually invited me down to an ID camp in the summer. And so I went to that. I got to play in front of the coaches and the coaching staff, and just from then, like our relationship like just grew instantly from one a day and a half of just being with them. Is I loved it. The campus is amazing. The weather is beautiful. Soccer program is very very talented. So yeah, they really believed in me, and that's why I chose them.
Yeah. Well, bring a lot of sunblock. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I
so, uh, so when you think about, starting soccer, the first thing that comes to mind now is I believe there's still that one COVID year left. So when you played college soccer, you're playing with older guys now. It used to be not, not so much, but you're going to have some 22, 23, 24-year-old guys out there playing. Is that an adjustment in college, you think, playing against such older guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely gonna be an adjustment. But it can only help me. Being a young guy playing against older guys can only help me. They'll help me develop into a more skillful player. They'll help me develop into a more mature person. So just I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. What style of play does Charleston have?
They love keeping the ball.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so not like a kick and run team. They work their players throughout every week. Um, During games, they high press. But like they're all they're all linked. I mean, if like one player is pressing, like let's say like the nine is pressing, all of them will go. They're not like they're so connected, and I really love that. I got to watch their game against Monmouth on an official visit,
Hmm.
and just seeing how like they communicated with each other, the team chemistry's there, everything looked very positive, and I just can't wait to play with them.
Yeah. Have you set personal goals for yourself for this season and for your Charleston career?
Um, yeah, for the Charleston for my Charleston career, I just look to get some decent playing time my freshman year. Try to help contribute to maybe a conference championship game. Um, for I guess high school, I I'm looking forward to I guess I want to score like 15 to 20 goals or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe lead Marshall to uh, a district final game maybe to see if we can get there. But I'm for Charleston. I'm just really looking forward to playing with the guys, getting minutes on the field, and just building like stronger relationships with everyone.
Mhm. When you look at the kids that you develop with, the kids that you've been playing travel soccer with and against for all these years, also basketball, are most of those kids playing in college, or some of them are just going to school to be students and maybe play club soccer?
Yeah. Last year, on my VA Union club team, one of my really good friends, Noah Gold, plays at West Virginia.
Mhm.
So he's playing at a very highly competitive school.
He's a good player.
Yeah, no, he's very good, very composed, and it shows.
Yeah.
Gage Lyons, he's going to Army West Point, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. Been playing with him for my whole life. Um, Goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then a bunch of players right now. There, I've been talking to them. Some are going to college, some are just trying to play club at a like well-known school. So everyone's still like in the mix of things right now, and they still like love the sport. So even if they can't play at like the varsity level, they would have no problem with playing at the club level. So
Yeah. So Chandler's not playing soccer for UVA, and his whole life has been based on sports, getting ready for a competition, training. And I think it's when you take that away from an athlete, it's an adjustment.
Definitely.
And I definitely think if you could play at the next level, it's memorable. I mean, it's nice to have fun and not have to worry about training and what you eat and lifting weights and all that stuff. But I think it's, and as your father will tell you, I think it'll make it an amazing experience, and it gives you some goals to look up to set and try to achieve.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, well, look, Matt, this has been great. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. I'm going to definitely come watch you guys play Marshall. Definitely going to come watch Marshall play this year. Definitely when you play against Yorktown, and probably when you play against McLean. I want to see you go against Gage. Yeah, but we had some good battles last year, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very even in the district. I've seen obviously I've seen Yorktown, but I think Washington Liberty lost already this year. I think they lost to Hayfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there might be more balance this year. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yep. We'll find out.
Yeah. So anyway, Matthew, thanks for doing this. Best of luck, and I'll see you soon.
Yep. Thank you, Julian.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Good talking. Yeah.